Nico O'Reilly, cup final. You've seen your heroes have these moments, your Gundogan's, Rodri's, Aguero's. What's it like to have your own?
Yeah, unbelievable feeling. I mean, to win a final, obviously to beat this team, we know how good they are. And yeah, now we need to build on it. It'll give us good momentum. And yeah, buzzing with today.
Yeah, and from a family of City fans, came through the City Academy. That make it all the more extraordinary. I mean, you must be stood here now thinking, has this really happened to me?
Yeah, a bit of disbelief. Seeing all the fans cheering like that when I scored them goals. Yeah, really a good feeling, and yeah, a great weekend, a great birthday weekend.
Yeah, like I said, you are from a family of City fans. Who's here today? Who's enjoying it with you? That's been on the journey?
My whole family came down today. So yeah, they're all in the stand, and yeah, I know they'll be buzzing, and yeah, can't wait to celebrate with them.
They definitely will be. You just have that knack, even though you're actually playing left back today, of arriving in the box at the right time. When did that develop in your game?
I think since I was a kid, I always played midfield. I was always arriving in the box and scoring goals. And yeah, to bring it into the senior level and at the highest level, I mean, yeah, it's good for me. It adds goals to my game, and yeah, great feeling.
Looking forward now to walking up those steps and picking up that trophy.
Yeah, I can't wait.
Well done.
Thank you, mate. Thank you.
What a story coming through the academy, a Manchester City fan through and through, and he has got the 2 goals that has won them the first trophy of this season. Micah.
Absolutely a standing moment for him coming through the academy. He talked there about his play midfield, to be able to adapt to go to left back. It's so good to see, and what it means to him. However, in that second half, I thought Man City were brilliant. They started building in the first half, and then they built on that momentum, took it into the second half, and Arsenal didn't know what to do. We'll talk a bit later about maybe what Arsenal could have done, but Man City were just brilliant. When I watched Man City against Real Madrid with 10 men, I did start to believe that they still had this sort of performance in them. I talked before the game in terms of that experience, and that experience definitely showed today. I thought in the second half it was outstanding.
They did dominate, didn't they? I mean, even really the last 15 minutes of the first half, Jamie, and then they kept that going in the second.
Kai Havertz had a chance very early in the game. Apart from that, they were dominant. Yeah, that was the only moment they really had when they started to struggle. And then once they got through that, they started to get hold of the game. Rodri, Semenyo was causing Arsenal so many problems in wide areas. Cherki was a constant menace, so much flair. He seemed to love playing at Wembley. And they were just by far the better team. They were by far. Arsenal didn't have an answer. They missed Odegaard, no Eze. They had no real cohesion, no pace up front. I was amazed really at Martinelli didn't come onto the pitch earlier on. But Man City were by far the better team.
You are obviously seeing the celebrations of Manchester City here, just maybe 15 yards, 20 yards to our right. There are a very understandably disappointed group of Arsenal players.
Yeah.
And Ian, they were dominated, weren't they? I keep coming back to that word, but it's not just the defeat, it's the manner of the defeat.
Yeah, well, at the start, I was mentioning that I just wanted to put the kind of performance in where they are beaten and they're playing well, trying to do what they do. For City put in the 4-2-4, they pressed us high, we knocked it long, we couldn't hold it, we didn't have any midfielders to... I think Zubamendi's numbers would be interesting to see. I don't think he held on to the ball. We couldn't get on it to get our team playing. We couldn't get out. That's why I was talking about Martinelli. And in the end, it all just fell in on us. So obviously the goalkeeper's mistake kind of handed it to him a bit. But it's a very disappointing one for me. You know, I think we've got to front up with that one and say, OK, we'll go again. But that was a really poor performance in the end for me.
A lot for us to unpick before we go off air as the Arsenal players go to get their runners-up medals. Let's hear from another celebrating Manchester City player. James Trafford a few moments ago spoke to Patrick.
Well, James, Nico can't score his goals if you don't make those saves. So how big a day, how special a day for you as well?
Actually, big saves in the moment because it was quite early on, and but I can't really remember them because it was quite quick. And yeah, I'm just here to play my part in it. So yeah, and then Nick scored 2, brilliant from him.
Is there any better feeling than this? See City fans, all your teammates there, you've done it, you've won it, and it probably hasn't been the easiest season for you, so to have this moment must be extra special.
Yeah, this moment means a lot to me to obviously win. 4 or 5 years ago I was 3rd choice, 4th choice when they beat Spurs, and I always imagined that I'd win it. win it one day. And yeah, this is an incredibly good feeling because all my family, my friends are all here, and yeah, it's a long way from North West Cumbria, so we had to win.
Go on, how many here then? Who's here?
Bo, Dan.
Oh, you're gonna know? We don't know.
You said how many? All in about probably 25 all in.
Wow.
And my younger coaches that had us coming up through the academy here. So yeah, it's an amazing feeling.
Shows, right, that how many people have been on the journey. When a guy makes it, achieves what you've achieved, it's never just one person.
No, and the people that are here have been with me throughout it. So yeah, it's incredible. And my mum and dad at home are looking after my nephew. So yeah, it's amazing.
Mean a lot that the manager picked you today and backed you for this cup run?
Yeah, it means a lot to have his faith, and it's a testament to I believe myself through how I've acted in training and how I've acted when I've been brought into the cup games. And yeah, like I said last time, every time I play, I just give it my best shot and try and win.
Have you had to show a lot of resilience this season? I guess a lesser keeper, a lesser character. You know, things change at the start of the season, another keeper comes in, you could have gone into your shell, you haven't.
Yeah, I'll make no illusions, it hasn't been easy at all. It's been really, really tough at times, but I've got an incredible set of people around me, and the lads are brilliant, the coaches are brilliant. So yeah, it more shows how good the people are around me than because they've kept me going and give me little goals, and yeah, it's down to them.
Well done, brilliant, go and enjoy it.
Cheers, Myron.
Stadium, here comes a sweet reunion. 5 years since last Manchester City embraced the Carabao Cup, then for the 4th year in a row. One season without a trophy was one season too long. This prize was once the promising and Carabao Cup! With it again, 2026, Manchester City. On the League Cup for the 7th time in the 21st century, the 9th time in their history. Whether or not this becomes significant in the Premier League race, well, time will tell, but this is a moment in its own right. It is of its own accord, indicative of City's intention to trade in trophies again. For them, a quarter-final to come, a 9-point gap to close in the Premier League. But this is done, this is real, this is fact, this is theirs. City are back on the honours board.
Yeah, he's a master, Pep Guardiola. He knows how to win. There's a lot of young players that have contributed enormously today. Trafford, Nico O'Reilly, Kusanov, establishing themselves in a new Manchester City team. And you can't keep them down, and you can't keep Pep Guardiola down. And those Arsenal players, the masters up top, the pupils are down below, watching on, hoping that in a few weeks' time that they can return the favour.
For Arsenal, the quadruple no more. For them, there is Europe still to conquer, the Premier League. I'm sure Pep wasn't man of the match. Perhaps he's just the messenger. He has passed on a few great messages. He has won this competition now more than anybody else. And he retains the admiration and the friendship of Mikel Arteta, who 4 weeks from now has to try and crack him all over again. Lovely personal moment for Bernardo Silva. Last time in 2021, Fernandinho was their captain. In the years before, their modern greats, David Silva, Vincent Kompany, they've led City dancing back down those stairs. Way back, Mike Doyle, Tony Book. Now here he is off his 449th game for City, the most decorated of the current cohort. Enjoying the privilege, which is an extraordinary career, surely merited. This for Bernardo Silva himself, a 15th major city honour. Still no Wembley goal for Erling Haaland, but a big, big Wembley smile this time. Nico O'Reilly stole the headlines, and Manchester City, as has been their habit for a decade and so much more, have stolen the prize, better than stolen it. They deserved it, they merited it, and they will carry it home with pride and joy. City 2, Arsenal 0, and the Carabao Cup winners of 2026 mark our Manchester City.
Thank you very much, Peter. Thank you, Gary, as well. You noticed something in all of that, Jamie, with Pep Guardiola and his body, maybe not occasionally on that balcony, but certainly in the build-up to it, and now you noticed something in his body language and demeanour.
Even his celebrations, but when he's, I mean, at one point I thought he was going to two-foot the hoardings. He nearly put his foot through it. This would mean a lot to him. Obviously this year people were talking about Manchester City, are they the same force in transition, lots of different things like that. Everyone's spoken so highly about Mikel Arteta. He's shown today he's still the governor. You know, there was much the better team. Tactically, they were classier. They knew what they had to do. He got his team in the right frame of mind. And this would have meant so much to him. It would have meant so much. Even though he's good friends with Mikel, you always want to win. Doesn't matter. You know, that really showed me today with his celebrations.
I think what, for me, was when he's been playing Semenyo up front with Haaland, they've sort of been in each other's spaces. I think it was a masterstroke to play Semenyo on the right and Doku on the left, and let Cherki do what he does best and just roam. Haaland before the game, you could see he was so pumped. He come out over afterwards as well and said, you see, I told you I was going to do it. But in terms of the tactical battle, Pep got it right today.
Look, you can look at this, can't you, Ian, in terms of the bigger picture, and I am sure we will in terms of the title race over the course of the next hour or so. But it was almost as if Pep Guardiola and City felt they just needed to prove a point. Yeah. They just needed to prove a point to the apprentice or to the team that could take the title. Don't forget about us.
Yeah, but you can't forget about them with the quality they got, the experience they got. And in the end, you know what I mean, they just, I thought they picked it on the fact that we started pretty well. We should have, the chance that Kai Havertz had, it proves you have to try and take them chances, because once City got moving in it, comfortable, it really did look like we didn't have too many options of what we were doing, especially when we started. We couldn't get out of our half. They pressed us high, we knocked it long, we couldn't keep it. And then we couldn't play the ball through the midfield. But they've got to get the credit for City, what's gone on. Everybody's knocking City about what they've done this season. They've not been quite the same. But what they've shown again in the final is what they're capable of doing. They win finals, they win big games.
And they control it as well, don't they?
Well, they did control it, and I think that we made it a lot easier for them to control it. Too many people had poor games for us. Obviously, the mistake from the goalkeeper is one that, you know, we could go into that debate about the second goalkeeper and the sentiment and all that rubbish. But the fact is that it's a final, and the mistake from the second goalkeeper has cost us, and then they scored soon after that. And then, you know, we kind of lose our way in the game before we could get the substitutes on.
I think as well, Manchester City. Before the game, I questioned with Kusanov playing at centre-back with Ake, who's not had a lot of football for a while. I thought maybe that's an area where Arsenal could exploit them. It didn't. They never made any difference. They were still very good defensively. They were organised. Rodri in midfield ran the game. And I just think Cherki has given Manchester City, not just Manchester City, I think football, there is so much to it that I love about how he plays. We see so many players now, they keep it simple, they play in the pockets. That freedom, that fabric, he's the sort of player that I want to watch when I watch football. Doing the skills, that might get a little bit of stick when he's keeping the ball up.
No,
I don't care.
Why not?
I love it. I don't care what people say. We see goalkeepers doing drag backs and putting their foot on the ball. I think he's got something about him. He's different, and that's what the football needs.
I think it all fell down for Arsenal. In the first half, I thought in the first 20 minutes, they knew exactly what they needed to do in terms of their press. In that second half, they did what Arsenal have been doing in recent weeks and going really low. Then you allowed Man City to get on the ball, be confident, and then they just couldn't get out. Wrighty was screaming up there, saying, where's Martinelli? Get him on, they needed an out. Gyökeres did good running power in that first half, but in that second half, they just couldn't get out.
I think, but going back to your point though, Ian, I could not agree more. Now, I know people will say there's sentiment and he's played in the earlier rounds. Kepa is not as good as Raya. That's why he is number 2. So why, in a major cup final, when you're trying to get across the line, you've not won a trophy in so long, that you decide to play him? You have to take responsibility for that. That is a monumental error. You know, I'm not saying he's not a bad goalkeeper. He isn't as good as Kepa, and it has come back and backfired big time. Now you could turn around and say, well, Trafford's not your number 1 either.
Well, that's a very valid point to come back at you on.
We didn't even get tested, so we got one
Well,
one
he
really
made the
good
double
save,
save in the first,
three really good saves. After that, he hardly had to touch the ball. It was easy for him.
Yeah, but I
just don't think it was it's the right. That's not me being wise after the event. I said it before the game.
No, I think you're right. When you asked me the question about goalkeepers at the start, Trafford was brought in as a number 1. He was ready. It's just that Donnarumma became on the market. Raya, and the difference between Raya and Kepa, he's so big. So in a big game, you're thinking, you've got to go with Raya. Look, we can talk about it after it, like Jamie says, but ultimately we're talking about it because it cost Arsenal the game. And that is the moments we talk about in football all the time. If he had a worldie, wouldn't we talking about it now?
Yeah.
We were giving him praise. Unfortunately, that is the case.
Well, the gamble didn't work. It didn't pay off. Like Trafford, obviously, he's done well because that save was a great save at the start. I think it was the fashion of the mistake. What makes you that's a mistake from a number 2. It was something you wouldn't see a number 1 goalkeeper make, and it's unfortunate because it's a turning point. I think if we don't concede that goal, we get the subs on, we might get into the game a bit.
So whilst we may have in the build-up talked about, 15 major trophies under Guardiola and so on and so forth, for a lot of these players, this is a new experience, actually.
Yeah, exactly that. And it's the fact of when Pep goes in January, he knows he needs some quality. He brought in Semenyo, he brought in Gueye, who couldn't feature tonight, and they looked like he steadied the ship a bit, and then a couple of results have not gone their way. Everyone's saying that he did a whole new rebuild. It's not about a whole new rebuild for me. It's more just tweaking certain situations. Man City, when they can control the game, they're perfect. Where they've struggled at times is when in midfield they need that little bit more energy. Jamie's perfectly right when he talks about Shirky. Off the ball, Shirky won't give you what some of the other players can give you, but on the ball, it gives you just that impetus to go forward with that quality. And these players are still young. They've only got time now, and this team will only get better. They've fallen short of their standards, of what we all expect of Man City. That's because Arsenal have been so good, and they've found ways to win games. The difference is now is what Man City can do going forward.
Arsenal today had nobody really to get their foot on the ball and make them play. Havertz is not that player. He's not the sort of player like an Odegaard or an Eze in midfield. Saka's off the ball at the moment. You're not going to see him running beyond anyone. Trossard wants to come into pockets. I think Kusanov did a great job defensively against Arsenal.
Zubimendi, we know our quality he's got. Even he couldn't get going today,
James. It's a lot to ask for him, isn't it?
Yeah.
Oh, it's this guy, I love